Hi folks, I'm Modulus. I'm back for another update on the USS Enterprise CVN-65 at 1/350 scale from Mini Hobby Models. So I've been doing quite a lot of things, and I would like to try to cover those things that I've done. And I hope I can do this not without taking too much time. So let's just get into the kit. So on the main hull here, the upper hull, I have I think something just dropped. Okay. So as I was saying, I've been working on this hull. I have been I have cleaned up the hull. I have sanded a lot of these surface, and maybe some of you might have seen my shorts video upload where I was cutting out these hangar bay doors. That was just a little bit of humor there. I put in some music that goes along with it. The music titled "Knife" from Rockwell. So anyway, so I have cut up all these holes, hangar bay door holes here. So it's a bit difficult to get everything into camera, so I have to hold my camera and move it around. So I've cut it up, cleaned it up, and then there are these pieces here which I have glued to the hull, and these pieces also had to be cut. Because it was covered. And then for some reason only this piece was a flat piece instead of this door, which has a little bit of depth here. So for this piece, I did some scratch build. I've cut out here, then used plastic cards to stick it so that it's not flat. And I've also stick these the deck elevator supports, I think, on all sides here. So okay, so on the elevator deck here, I have encountered a problem, which basically this is the elevator deck, and these pieces are supposed to go into these slots here. But the thing is, it's a bit loose, and I think you can see that it comes off easily, and it doesn't stay tight in these grooves. In fact, I think you won't even hold it. So what I have done is I have one piece here which I tested. What I have done is this piece was actually slightly longer here, so I had to cut these and put in these plastic cuts here. So with that, and this is a 1mm cut. So when I did that, it fits. It has quite a tight fit now, so it does not drop off. but there is still the problem of this elevator deck being not sitting horizontally. So it is still sagging down a bit. So I think if you can see, it's supposed to. It's really difficult to show this because I'm holding this hull with one hand and the camera with my other hand. But anyway, the point is it's not sitting horizontally. So I tried to fit in a couple of plastic cards here. Let me just move this to the... Okay, so what I can do is I can fit this in to make it more rigid. And by doing this, of course, it's a little bit cheating, and there will be these of course I'm gonna cut this smaller so that it cannot be seen from the, cannot be seen visually. But by doing this, the deck will actually sit way much better. I think it's almost sitting flat now. So yeah, these decks are always a problem for these carriers. In fact, I had this problem with the Kitty Hawk also. It was very loose, and for Kitty Hawk I think I super glued it. But I think for this now it's sitting quite tight. And the thing about all these elevator decks is it does not fit well to the main deck. That it's either too tight or there are quite a big gaps. So if you're doing this in the the elevator deck being at the top position, it's gonna be difficult. So what I'm gonna do is I will lower all these decks, and since I cut up the holes, I'm gonna open the hangar door base. It's better to have the elevator decks at the lower position so that the interior can be seen much easier. So then we don't have to worry about this not fitting with the top deck here. Of course, it's not gonna, if this actually moves up, it's not gonna fit nicely to the top deck. But I think that doesn't matter if this is at lowered position. So yeah, that's the plan for now, that I will lower all the decks. So that's on the deck part. And then after this, I'm gonna have to start building the interior hangar bay. So also the plan is I'm gonna have to cut out a plastic card to start gluing them like this, so that this is for the interior hangar bay floor. And probably on the surface I will have to excuse me, I will have to drill out all these these holes. So there's still a lot of work there to do. And also, okay, let me just move over to my table now, because that's on the hull, and I would like to show you some smaller parts now. So for these sponsons, I have assembled some of them just to test out the fit. It does fit okay, but of course there are gaps. These can be cleaned off. And then I always reinforce this with the plastic cuts in there, super glue it, so that it doesn't, you know, become too, when you press this. So without all these things in there, this will actually, you know, especially when you're working, you have puttied this, and then the moment you press this, the putty breaks. So it's for me, I would like to have this very firm, so that after I sand it, I don't break it. And same goes for this. It's just inserting plastic cuts, super gluing it, so that, you know, it becomes firm. It's just the support. So that's on the sponsons, and these on the, when I attach it to the hull, of course there are gaps everywhere, but I think those have to be cleaned up, no choice. And then discovered another thing, which is these rudder blades. There are 4 of these. So I found out that the instruction manual is indicating certain things wrongly. So actually this rudder blade is for the outer side of the, let me just pull it in the bottom hull here. And so these are actually for here, and these ones with the slightly angled rudder blades. So I think these are supposed to be like this, because it is at a certain angle. But the thing is, the instruction manual tells you to use this part for here. So what I did initially was, since this has to be in angle, I drilled the hole in a certain angle. Then now I found out that actually this piece goes in here. So now it's angled a lot. So I might have to loosen up this hole and then align this and just super glue this thing. So that's on the rudder blade. And then okay, yes, I have decided that I will get a photo edge for this kit after all. So I think it's worth putting photo edge. So I've been starting to cut off all these netting on the main deck, and also on all these elevator decks. There was a piece of all these pieces of supposed to be the nets, but I have cut them out, cleaned them. And speaking about photo edge, after, you know, checking out a lot of things on the net, yes, Edward is the most comprehensive, most detailed, and it's the nicest PE compared to others. So even though it's slightly expensive, I decided to get that. And I'm getting the part 3, 4, and 5 because that's for the island. Especially the decks, all the nettings, and also the last one was I think the problem with Edward is they separated the nets on the main deck and the elevator deck in 2 separate parts. So I had to buy that part 4 and 5, you know. And that was probably, you know, they know you're gonna have to get all, so that you will spend money. So I had no choice. I took part 3, 4, and 5. Part 1 and 2 I skipped it because that's for the life raft things and the air wings. Which for air wings I decided to get from White and Zine, because White and Zine's PEs have more choices for the aircrafts. Okay, so that's for the PE. And okay, for this deck here, I don't know if you can notice there is a difference between this thickness and this thickness here. So this thickness is how the kit original kit came with. But for here, I did say I was not gonna do anything, but I ended up scraping off a lot of these walls here. Basically just using a cutter to scrape it off like this, and cutting out, just cutting it out. So you will see a lot of scratches on the bottom there, which I'll need to sandpaper those scratches. But even at this thickness, it is still not thin enough comparing to the Kitty Hawk, which is really thin. So I might take off more. Okay, now you can see the difference. So this is actually really thick and it doesn't look good at all. And if you look at the real ship, it's really thin on these walls here. So I will have to do on the other side. But for this side, there are these I don't know if you can see this, but there are these things here. So this is gonna be in the way and I cannot scrape off easily. Or maybe I have to, this will probably have to be sacrificed and cut off. Otherwise it'll be so difficult to make this wall thinner. So that's on the main deck, and this deck I have drilled all the holes, cleaned up in fact I've sanded off all the lines, the raised lines, and I've re-scribed back the lines. And the reason is because I want it as a reference maybe when I start sticking the decals. And talking about the deck, instead of painting, I decided I'm gonna use decals. So I did buy the deck decals set. So all those things that I bought are on the way. I don't know how long it's gonna take, probably about a month. So I might be stuck with this for, but there are a lot of things to do, so I'm sure I can still progress on this build. And there is one thing I would like to show you here, which is this. So I did buy, I just received this LED strip. So okay, let me just switch this on. Okay, so now it's okay, now you can see the LED lights. So these are something similar to what I bought for the Kitty Hawk. It's cheap. It's about $3-4 US. But I made a mistake. This time the LED light that I bought is the infrared type. So initially I could not switch it on, and I thought this remote was broken. So you see, if I keep pressing, it doesn't, because it's so directional that I have to do like this to switch it off. For Kitty Hawk, I bought the radio frequency type of remote, so it's not directional. So this one has to be aimed at the sensor over here. I guess it's not so bad because I will stick this thing out from the ship, so that's not gonna be a problem. Okay, so anyway, I have been doing some R&D work here, and I have already cut out the island. So I think this time what I plan to do is I will try to stick some LEDs inside here. And for this time I bought 2 meters instead of 1 meter, because on the hangar deck ceiling I would like to put 2 strips instead of 1, like what I did for the Kitty Hawk. So okay, basically the idea is just put in the LED inside this island here, and the idea is just to make it sort of look like it's glowing inside. I don't want the thing to be shining out because that's not going to be realistic. The thing about LED light is really bright, and if it was to be at this brightness in a real scale, it'll be a blinding light, I believe. This one, I just placed the LED randomly, you know, and I have not done much. I'm still trying to figure out how to put it. So probably I will stick it on the floor, maybe, so that, you know, the LED cannot be seen, but it will create some glowing effect there. And I think I can stick it in from here, because this will be to the main deck, and then probably cut a hole out here, bring it out. And I noticed in the ad, they said these LEDs are can be like folded into a 90-degree, which, yeah, I think it can be folded, so it's good. I think the one that I bought for the Kitty Hawk was much more thicker. So I think this LED, yeah, I can do a double strip on the ceiling of the hangar bay, because I can just put one side, then fold this. I'm not sure how to do this, but I will have to fold it into a 90-degree, then, yeah, bring another strip down on this side, so that, you know, it will have two strips of LED. So I hope 2 meters is enough. So that is something that I have been also testing. So yeah, these will probably I will do this much later. Now I'm just sort of doing some tests and see if it works. So I think I've covered all the things that I want to talk about. Okay, and before I forget, there's one information about this kit compared to the Tamiya kit, which is for this mini hobby model, all these decks are the elevator decks are cut open. But for the Tamiya kit, I noticed that for this deck here, it's actually molded in. So I'm not sure what's the reason for that. So that is one difference. And also for the Tamiya kit, they give all these things as an option, you know, to even the Tamiya kit is closed up, so I'm not sure. Probably it was meant to be closed up. But for this kit, there's nowhere in the instruction manual that tells you to use this, because it's all closed up from the front anyway. These doors have 2 layers of doors, and for this kit, it's closed up from the outer side. So there's no point, I mean, if you're gonna close it, there's no point to actually attach these things here. So probably that's why the instruction did not indicate anything. So I had to figure out which one goes to where. And so Tamiya kit, yeah, they do have this, but it's also closed. So I'm not sure what's the deal with that. So anyway, this is about what I have for now. Yeah, a lot of these things I need to still. I think the checking part is done. I think this kit is a doable kit. It's just that a lot of cleaning needs to be done. So I will put in the photo edge, then deck decals, and what was the other thing? Okay, yeah, it's just the PE and the deck decals. So once those things comes, but I won't be working with PEs so soon. I think there's still so much cleaning up to do. These have been sanded down already. So yeah, I think this is it for, again, this video became long. So I hope this was a good information for those if you're building this kit, and I'll be back for more. So stay tuned. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like it. And as usual, happy modeling, and cheers for now. Goodbye.